Now they're also going to ask you to simplify where exponents are involved. So let's just go through the rules. The rules that you learned when? Basically in grade 8. Okay. Rule 1. If I've got x to the a multiplied by x to the b, I have a rule. Bases are the same. We are multiplying at the exponents. So that's x to the a plus b. If I've got x to the a divided by, so I'm going to do it like this because that's what we do in grade 12 and grade 11. I say base is the same. I get x to the a minus b. If I've got x to the a to the power of b, we say we are raising a power to a power. I get x to the a over b. Now, before we actually go on to the next one, exponents are so important. Not because they are going to be asked in their own capacity, but basically because they come into calculus, they come into logs, they come into sequences. So let's just talk a little bit about what you know about exponents. Right, firstly, if I've got 2 to the minus 1, what does that mean? It's basically 1 over 2. Why? Because if I had 2 squared over 2 cubed, by using that rule we showed you, rule number 2, I would have 2 to the 2 minus 3, which is minus 1, which you can see if I had cancelled would be 1 over 2. So 3 to the minus 2 is clearly 1 over 3 squared, 1 over 9. A, b to the minus 2. Now be careful. That is a to the 1 times b to the negative 2, which means I've got a times 1 over b squared, which gives me a over b squared. And then the other one is the magic one of exponents, which tells me that anything to the power of 0 is 1. Why? Because if I've got a to the 6 over a to the 6, clearly I can cancel that and I get an answer of 1. But if I use that rule, that second rule, what have I got? A to the 6 minus 6, which is a to the 0, which is 1. Once again, be careful. If I've got 3 times 2 to the 0, that is 3 to the 1, which gives me 3 multiplied by 1, which is 3. Okay, let's play with exponents. Question. Again, could be in the first section of your maths paper. Simplify. We are still on to simplify, involving exponents and using those rules. Right, simplify. Let's go. Most important thing about exponents, and you're going to find in logs as well, is we've got to write it as a prime factor. So if you see a 6, it's not 6, it's 2 times 3. If you see a 4, it's 2 times 2, which of course is 2 squared. And incidentally, very good idea to learn your powers of 2 and your powers of 3. But at any rate, let's carry on. And what have I got here? 3 I'm happy with. 3 to the x multiplied by. Now, what is 10? Prime factors. So I'm going to write it as 5 to the 1 times 2 to the 1 to the x minus 2. Now this 1 and that 1 is clearly not needed there, but I'm putting it there to remind you you've got to use that power rule. Okay, so now let's carry on. 2 I'm happy with. 2 to the x. 15 must become 5 times 3. Again, prime factors to the power of x. Right. Third rule, raising a power to a power. 3 to the x. Now, careful. 5 to the x minus 2 multiplied by 2 to the x minus 2 over, I'm happy with 2 to the x, And here I've got 5 to the x multiplied by 3 to the x. See, once again, remember each one. So if you want to, put those ones in. They're not necessary, but it just avoids careless mistakes. Right, now, rule number 1, rule number 2. If you're multiplying, you add, provided the bases are the same. And if you are dividing, you subtract. So I'm going to put down the 3. And look, x, anything on the bottom line, I say, in the denominator, I change the sign. 5, x minus 2 minus x. And 2, x minus 2 minus x. Which gives me 3 to the 0 times 5, x minus x to the negative 2 times 2 to the negative 2. Now, we're looking at everything I said to you a little earlier on. 3 to the naught, 1, multiplied by 5 to the negative 2, 1 over 5 squared. 2 to the negative 2, 1 over 2 squared, which gives me 1. 25 times 4 is 100. Right, happy. So that is exponents. That's the sort of question you might get in exponents using the rules. However, there's more to exponents than meets the eye. Remember, in exponents, if there's a plus or a minus sign, it's like a robot that says stop. There's no rules. There's no rules for plus or minus. Just like in an algebraic expression, there's no rules for plus or minus. You can't add unlike terms. Right, so if you've got a question like this, plus minus sign, robot. Remember what happened in the first question we did today? What did we have to do? We had to factorize to cancel those factors. We do the same. So what do I do here? I'm going to split it up. I cannot use a rule. I cannot say 3 to the x, add 1. Why? Because that would be multiply, and it's not. It says plus. So I've got to split up with the aim of getting out that common factor. So I go 3 to the x plus 3 to the x times 3 to the 1. And let's see that you understand that. 3 to the x times 3 to the 1 is exactly the same as 3 to the x plus 1. Right, underneath. Again, I've got 3 to the x minus 3 to the x times 3 squared. And now we are ready. Why did we do that? Because we want to get out that common factor so we can cancel the factors. Out comes 3 to the x. Now, again, be careful. 3 to the x is out of there. There's not nothing there. It's 3 to the x multiplied by 1 plus. Took out the common factor of 3 to the x. I've got 3. Double check that you're happy with that. Underneath, take out a common factor of 3 to the x. What's left? 1 minus 3 to the x is out. I've got 3 squared, which is 9. I can now cancel the factors that are the same. And I mean, a little bit of arithmetic there. 3 and 1 is 4. Over 1 minus 9 is minus 8, which gives me minus a half. Right, we're still on simplification. Logs, exponents.